So it's Sunday morning, about 9:10 a.m. and I'm sitting here and I'm folding my clothes. And the Lord He spoke to my heart and told me to stop what I was doing. To make this video for my son. I'm not gonna say his name, but he knows who he is. I don't really know what to say. I'm worried, concerned for him because he doesn't speak to me. He speaks to me when we're together if I go and see him, but he doesn't call me. And I noticed last time when I seen him that when he looked up at me, he got emotional. So there's a lot of pain there. I understand that. I didn't always make good choices. And I didn't understand all the time that those choices, that our choices affect others. Probably more so than they affect us. Especially when those others are dependent on us to be strong. And as much as I convinced myself that choices and decisions that I made or making back in the past were to protect them, it was mostly for me. It was mostly for me. And my complete lack of understanding, my lack of wisdom. Hosea 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. In 2018, well, in 2017, I had a drug overdose. And I shot cocaine up, and I don't ever do that. I was led by a bad spirit, and straight up, and it almost killed me. And it would have killed me if it wasn't for the grace of God, who literally, he put his hand on my heart, and he said, focus, breathe, and he literally held my heart in his hand. It kept me from dying that day. That was in the end of June in 2017. And then in August of 2017, I went to Vegas for the first time. And I was like, yo, man, I just started realizing that this stuff was all facade. Like, it wasn't real. And I came back from Vegas back to Phoenix, and I fell asleep. And it was August 5th, so it was the night of August 6th, which is my birthday. And in that, God came and he delivered a dream to me. And in the dream, I was in a pit of tar. If anyone's ever seen Star Wars, it was like the pit of Sarlacc is the only way I can describe it. from the Return of the Jedi series, and also from Boba Fett. But anyways, I kept trying to get out, and every time I tried to get out, I'd fall back on my face, and I was getting to the point where I was about to quit. And right as I fell on my face for the last time and picked myself up, Jesus showed up. And he whispered in my dog's ear, and his tail became a rope. And the rope was into the pit. And I grabbed it, and I was flew out actually. And I woke up, and I was just like, I said, Dad? Because it was just like, whoa. Anyways, shortly after that, the Lord revealed to me that the woman that I had been involved with for years was led by a bad spirit. Well, several bad spirits, but this in particular one, the spirit was, the intentions of this spirit, the intentionality of this spirit was to prevent me from becoming what God wanted me to be. And some other things happened. I won't get into that right now, but I ended up trying to fight her for my ex, my children's mother. I don't want to say baby's mom or whatever, but anyways, their biological mother. I tried to fight her for the children, and at the time, I had no job. I was dependent basically on her for the house and all that stuff, and I had a violent past, and I ended up losing the court case, mostly for disobedience. The Lord told me not to go over to her house, and I did, and I ended up getting arrested for violating a court order and a bunch of other stuff that was just garbage, BS lies. She set me up, long story short. She set me up, and I went over there, and I got set up by the police, were called and waiting for me, and I ended up doing 6 months in jail for that, which is a blessing because there was like 2 or 3 felonies. So I mean, 6 months is nothing compared with my record. I was very thankful for that. Plus, they gave me back time, and that's unheard of really here in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh my goodness, I got mocos in my. Anyway, so about 20 days to the gate. Okay. I was praying. I had been praying, and I had been reading the whole time in there. And God did some awesome stuff in that place. And I asked him, like, what do you want me to do? Like, what should I do about my children? Like, what's the next step? And I heard him tell me, let it go. Let it go. Let him go. Trust me. And as soon as I heard that, my first thought was scripture. How if you don't take care of your children, you're just as good as a heathen. You're no better than a heathen. And that's where spiritual immaturity comes into play. Because at the time, I believed that I thought that in order to take care of your children, you have to be there physically. But the best thing to do for your children, or for anybody for that matter, is to pray for them and let God handle it and trust Him. So as soon as I got out of jail, the Lord said, go right, and I went left. And by doing so, that's how I got mixed up with fentanyl. And in that process of using fentanyl and not trusting God, He kept me safe all those times. But I brought these things that I had in my life at those times, I brought them around the children, because at first we were separated because there was still a court order and all this thing was going on, and I ended up losing that court case because I didn't even press the issue when I got out. I attempted to, but it was just, I went left. And eventually during COVID, after COVID happened, because I got out in October 2019. No, it was 18. Yeah, 2018. And then when COVID hit, that's when they came back around. But in that process, we spent Christmas together in 2019 because I was saving some money and I bought them some gifts and all that. It was good. Mom didn't have much. She ended up selling her house and didn't have a place to stay, so they stayed with me during COVID. And by that time, I was full of smoke and blues, like daily. And eventually, I got Mom into it as well. But she got herself into it. She made her own choices. So yeah, and in that, I kind of alienated the family because when you're actively using, you don't really want to be around many people. I tried to shelter them from that a lot. I did the best of my ability. Well, the best of my ability would be not do it at all. However, I did try to shelter them from it when they were younger. But as they got older, they weren't stupid. You know what I mean? And it affected them. It affected them, especially Raiden. It affected our relationship, me and him, because we were so. I'm gonna edit that out, by the way. We were so close when he was born, like, so close. I mean, so close. There were moments where I was in prison and we were separated and all that, but when I got out, it was like we were just so close, man, so close. And as he got older, and I started messing up more, he kind of pulled back. And being influenced in the spiritual world by things that aren't from God, I would allow seeds to be planted and have negative thoughts about him. Not that they would manifest in anger or physical violence. No, that never happened. Matter of fact, I stopped punishing them corporally, if you will. After that, mostly out of shame, because I felt like, who am I to tell them anything besides just speak it, you know what I mean? But also, throughout that whole time, I would have these moments. The Lord would convict me and say, you got to go to detox. You got to go to detox. Philip, you got to go to detox. You can't be doing this. And I would go, and I would have these moments, and I would tell them the truth. I would tell them that Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. I told them that, hey, God will never let you down. I will let you down. I will fail you. God never will. But then I would say those things, and then I'd go and I'd get high. I'd close the door and get high. So it was truth, but there was nothing behind it. There was no life behind it. There was no truth behind it. But in that, there was a separation between me and him. And he grew closer to his mom. And she's full of lies. However, Raiden saw those things too. The Lord is with him, So I say all these things because something inside of me lately I have felt it has been something hard inside me, and I haven't been able to let it go. Something happened on Wednesday that it really affected me. I haven't been able to process it yet, and I believe it's like there's a Band-Aid over it, and part of that has to do with all of this, I suppose. And I really want to make this video because I want him to see it. I want Raiden to see it. I want him to know that stuff that he's dealing with inside, that he hasn't let go of, it's okay. It's okay to let go. It's okay to shed a tear in front of somebody. I don't even know if anyone's going to see this. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I'm going to post it. But if I do, I don't care if someone sees me emotional. It doesn't bother me none. Because it's true. And the truth will set you free, man. You know what I'm saying? So my encouragement is to anybody out there who's holding on to something, to let it go, process it by trying to write it. And I tried writing these things down this morning, and it was just like I hit a wall. The Lord's like, you need to clean the kitchen floor. And so I swept it up, and it still got dirty on it. But I'm gonna go do that next in obedience, humbling myself, get on my hands and knees and clean this floor, because the mop here is garbage. So I'd rather do it correctly. But it wasn't until I got my clothes and I was folding them until the Lord started working on this issue inside. Um, and I'm supposed to be at the service today. I don't even know if I'm going to go. I probably should. I want to, but at the same time, I don't. After what happened on Wednesday. And perhaps I will share that. I don't understand why I can't write it out. It's so much easier to write it out than it is to do this. Well, it used to be, anyways. So I want to say, son, I love you. I would like to be, I'd just like to say this one time. When I was sober, there was a time for a couple years I was sober, or a light weekend warrior, if you will. I coached football for him. And he was the reason that I started doing it, because I wanted to spend more time with him. And he was amazing. He was the way that he would run to the people, they couldn't pull his flag. It made me so proud. Not in a negative way, just wow. And I know, like, now that was the Lord, like, because there was no way those little kids should not have pulled his flag. It was like God was just letting him run through the crowds. It was amazing. And all the children, besides mine, they it was very disrespectful. Raiden was very rude, and there was no he did not have any what's the word, respect for me even then. And well, he had respect, but it was more fear then. As soon as the corporal punishment, if you will, or I didn't beat him, but as soon as the discipline stopped in a physical way, the fear left. And since there was no respect for my actions, it caused a major rift that has not been healed. But I'm willing, 100%, and I believe it will be. It will be. But anyways, they were so fond. The children were so fond of me and my other coaches there. But it was like Raiden resented that. The parents didn't care much for me. To tell you the truth, we were called the Saints, and I would pray before the games, and I'd get these not so good looks sometimes from the parents. But the children did. They cared. It was fun. It was fun. And then a lot of them left in the following year. They didn't want to be on the Little Saints anymore. But that's okay. So yeah, I just want you to know something. I love you, and I'm proud of the steps that you have been making there where you're at. I know that you're frustrated with the situation right now, but not having documents that you have asked for. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I promise you, I'm doing the best that I can in that moment, with those things. But they're out of my hands as well. And I believe it's like going up the stairs. Doors are opened as you go up the stairs, and for whatever reason, that door has not been opened yet to get your documents. You and I have spoke about the date that these things should take place. I'm waiting for a court date. You gotta find, but I just wanted to know that I love you, and I would like for us to speak more. I'd like for you to ask me questions. I'd like to say that I'm sorry for letting you down. I'd like to say that I can't change what was done. Nobody can. we can do is change the now. So what happened in the past doesn't happen again in the future. And that goes for your own life as well. But more importantly, it goes for the lives of our lives, because you're not going nowhere, boy. I'm not gonna let you go anywhere. Um, I'll fight tooth and nail to the death to make sure that we end up together. But ultimately, that's your decision. And nobody can make that decision for you but you. So, with all that said, I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Uh, God bless you, son. I love you, okay?